So let's open the design that we will be building today in Xtheme. I've done the design in Adobe XD, and if you want to watch the full tutorial, I will link that in the description below. But basically this is what we will be recreating in Xtheme today. Hopefully Xtheme 3 should make things a lot easier now that we have the option to use Flexbox everywhere. I will keep this file open, and by the way, I have already extracted some of the graphics, but to do this, all you have to do, for example, you can select this, you can mark it as export. As you can see, it's already marked, but you can unmark it and then mark for export, and then you can go here on the left side and find the export option, and then you can do batch export, select it, or artboards, and so on. So I think in this case it will be best to do selected. You choose the format, and in this case I want the phone not to have a background color or anything like that, so PNG is the correct format. Then I would probably select for web. Then I usually select the 2x, so I get a big image and a small image. Then I usually decide which one to use. Yeah, let's quickly export this on the desktop. So I've exported this, and as you can see, it has exported 2x image and a small image. I'll probably end up using the 2x one, 2x at 2x, because then I can scale that down if I want to, and hopefully it will look a little bit more sharper on the web. But anyways, this is how you export the images. I won't be using those icons, so I'll be actually using the icons from Xtheme, so I won't have to export all those icons. I've already exported those two images. I've exported the Gutenberg image as well, and I already have the background image of the mountains exported. So let's go to the browser. As I've mentioned before, my website is using Xtheme, which means I can use the Cornerstone editor to update my pages super quickly. Tutorial, I won't go through the whole setup on how to install Xtheme. It's just to install Xtheme is the same as installing any other theme. Just follow the instructions and you will be okay. But if you want me to make full-on video about Xtheme, let me know in the comments below and I will be more than happy to do that. If we go to pages and create a new page, let's name this page the minimalist demo. I want to make sure that under page attributes we have the template set to no container, no header and no footer, and we don't want a parent page or order, so let's publish this quickly. Then if we click on edit with Pro again, that should open the Pro editor, and then we can start building the website. So the first thing we're going to look at building is this header. We have the text on the left side and we have the mobile phone on the right side. So we can technically split this into one big section with two columns with equal width. So if you go back to the browser, I can add a new section by clicking on this plus sign here. Then on the newest version of Xtheme Pro, we have these options, which you have on the old one as well, but in this case we actually have the option of Flexbox, which will make things a lot easier. But if you don't have the option of Flexbox, don't worry, you can either do custom codes or use paddings and margins, I guess, which isn't perfect, but it's an option. So let's choose the layout with the two columns. And as I said, in the first column I will have the text, and in the second column I will have the mobile phone, which is here. Let's click on the section and add the background. So to add the background image, go to here, background, click on advanced, and then this will open those two menus, and we actually want a lower layer image. So I'm just going to click on this and select an image. And as I said, I've already extracted my images, so this is the image that I need. and this is perfect. It's already covering everything. It's set to cover and center, which is exactly what I want. But also I want to make sure that the height of this is, if we look at the XD, I want the height to be around 100% of the height of the window, or maybe slightly less so people can see that there is scroll. I haven't decided yet, but let's go for something like 90 for now. Let's go back to the browser, and what we can do is we can actually write custom code in here under customize, and you can either write inline CSS or you can write element CSS in here. And to write element CSS in here, it's actually explained here. All we have to do is put the $, an L as element, and then you can just write the CSS that you want. So in this case, I want to set the height to 90 VH, and this, I don't know if this is good enough. Maybe I can go even 98. Just let's even go 100. Let's go 100 for now. But maybe we can add a little icon that there is scroll, or maybe just set it a little bit less than 100. And let's close this now. If you remember, in the XD we have the title, which I'm probably going to change. I'm not sure about this title 100%, so I'm just going to copy this for the demo anyway, and go to elements and insert a heading. So headline, let's drag the headline in here, and as you can see the text is looking super small, but if we click on it, let's click edit text, paste this in here, and I'm just gonna hack this super quickly and just put a BR breakpoints, so it breaks the text in 2 lines. And also we need to change the text to be H1, and I want the M to be, I don't know, maybe around 3. We'll see how it goes in a second. But I also want to change, if we scroll down, I also want to change the font family to be set to headings, which will use the already preset fonts on this website. Actually, I didn't know that I can just change the font type from here. So maybe I can do, oh, this is the base font, so maybe I can do that as 1 and leave this one as 3. I will leave the spacing as it is, and also the font weight, I want it to match my design, so that's 700, which is bold. And let's change the color to white. And also, if you notice on my design, I need to have it around here. If you notice on my design, I actually have a little bit of a drop shadow in here, so I'm going to try to mimic this drop shadow as much as I can. If I click on the text, scroll down, you can see the text shadow in here. What I can do is give, oh, it's went to red, so let's make this black, give it a little bit of opacity here, and then we need to put the Y offset maybe I don't know, 3 pixels, and we need to blur it a little bit, just like this. I don't know if I like this. Let's see. I think this is just okay. Can always mess with it and make it a little bit better, but something like this will do. And let's now add the second text, which is this here, this text here. I will copy this, and then I will go to elements and type text. I will just drag and drop the text underneath here. I might give the actual heading a little bit of margin, so it pushes the text below a little bit. And for the margin, just scroll down in here. You can do, if you unlink this, it will give you the option to do margins on different margins on each side. So for example, I might want like 2M or 1M. I think 1M will do, and I can just give each side individual values. Now obviously we need to change this text to be white, so let's scroll down. The font family is set to inherit, which is correct, or I can just put as body type. Regular is fine. let's give it white color, and maybe the font size can be up to 1.4 or 1.2, something like this should be okay. I'm not too fussed about replicating the design exactly as it was in Adobe XD, because I'm still gonna mess around and improve things as I go along. We are good here. Let's quickly add the phone. So we need an image element. Let's drag that into the right side. Select here the source. The source is here. Now this is set. This is quite small, so we need to click on this eye in here, which will make the image a lot bigger, which is exactly what I want. And maybe I can change the max width to be slightly smaller. I don't know, maybe in fact something like this would do. So the max width set to 600 pixels, so it's not gonna go above that anytime soon. I also want to make sure that the phone itself is centered, aligned on the column horizontally and vertically. And this is the new great feature in the latest Xtheme Pro. You can actually use Flexbox. So if I click on the column, let's find where Flexbox is, and Flexbox is hidden under here under setup, and at the moment it's off, so we need to turn that on, and it's gonna open this menu for us, which is awesome. And what I want to do is align horizontally set to center. As you saw, it moved in the center of the column, and I want align vertically to be set to center as well. You didn't see a move because the phone is quite big, I think, and it was kind of already in the center by the looks of it. But trust me on this one, it is in the center now, or it should be. Now this is great. I also want to do the same thing for the heading and the paragraph in here. So let's click on the column, the left side column, turn on Flexbox layout, and I want to do align horizontally. I want to have this to set to the start, and align vertically. I want to set this to center, which brings the text in the middle, just like on the design that we have in Adobe XD. So far everything is perfect. I could do this circle in two ways. I can either export it separately, or I can export it actually as the background, which I didn't do earlier. But just to let you know, you can export this together and do it as one background, or you can just export this separately and maybe just like position it. In fact, let's export this super quickly. Right click, mark for export. Let's go to export, select it, and I'm just gonna choose desktop again, and let's go here. And this is the one I want. But also I want to, every time I upload something on my website, I want my website to be fast. And for the quick PNGs, I like to use the tiny PNG, JPEG and PNG compression website. All you have to do is actually just drag the image that you want to compress, and then click. And then if you see in here, it was 179 kilobytes and now it's 13 kilobytes, which is absolutely insane. And now I can download this, and my web page should load a lot faster. So now that this is downloaded, I will have to find it under my downloads. But what I can do is, if I click on the section, hopefully I can then select the upper layer background in here, click on the image, and I need to find the image that I just downloaded. So give me a second. I think it should be under downloads. Let's drag that in. Okay, so we've got this image. Let's insert it, and as you can see, it's set under cover and center. Ideally we might have to remove the size, and for the position we might have to do top and then right, which then positions this background image to the top right, and it does the effect that we have on XD Design. Now we can always give it, we can always change the size in here and make it the way we like. So 400 pixels should make it a little bit smaller, as you can see, but this works really well, and so on. So just keep playing and see what you like and what you dislike, and so on. So this is awesome so far. Obviously on mobile we're gonna have to adjust a little bit, but yeah, so let's continue. And by the way, make sure you save your work when you work in Adobe XD, when you work in Xtheme, and just test it in the browser to see how it looks. So as you can see, the circle looks a little bit off, but that's okay. I can just maybe remove the pixels, save it, and go back and just refresh, and that looks a little bit better to me. But anyway, let's move on. You're probably now wondering, well, how are we going to do the buttons? Because we have Flexbox now set to align left, vertically aligned to center, the buttons will be a little bit tricky to do. So we're actually going to have to nest another row in here, and let's do that. So first of all, let's go to sections. Actually, let's go to layout. And inside this column here, if you select it, you will see the plus sign. If we click on this, we can now nest a row, and as you can see, it gives us layout options. So in this case, I'm just gonna go for the full width, and then I can just drag my button in here. Let's drag a button in here, and the first button in our design was red. And also in my Xtheme, I've already have a few presets that I use globally on my website. So what I'm going to do is actually apply the red preset, which is big red button, and apply. But you can create this super easily just by changing the background colors, give it different size, and so on. So this is perfect. If we go back to the XD, you will see we have the free download button with the download icon, and we have watch YouTube video. So let's replicate this super quickly. I'm not going to be linking it now, just because this is a demo yet. In fact, I haven't finished the WordPress theme yet. So let me quickly change the learn more to free download, and also I want some sort of a download icon. So I'm going to scroll down, and under graphics setup, if you click on, that should allow us now to choose a new graphic. And for the graphic, I will choose type as icon, but you can also use your own images if you like. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you can change the size, a lot of other options. And obviously I want the color to be set to white, and on hover I want it to be set to white with a little bit of alpha, so it just goes like this. It goes a little bit, the opacity changes a little bit. I want to obviously change the icon to like a download icon. This is the download icon that I will use. So far that's perfect. Also, I want to give a little bit of margin on the paragraph here. So let's do that. And I need to replicate this button and do the watch YouTube video now, but the YouTube one was black. So let's do that super quickly, set everything to black. And for the icon, let's have a look. For the icon, I need some sort of like a, there isn't YouTube icon, so maybe like I don't know, maybe this will do. And obviously we need to change the text. Watch YouTube video. And as you can see, there is a lot of space between on the left and the right side of the row or column in this case. And what we have to do is actually right click and, okay, let's select the row first. Okay, so the menu I'm looking for, it's gonna be around here. So yeah, it's really hard to click for some reason. So maybe this is something that, or is it this row that I need to click on? Let's have a look. I think it's just outside this row that I need to click. It's a little bit hard for some reason, but maybe Xteam will fix this at some point. But basically what you have to do is right click on this row and remove spacing, and that should align everything to the left. I'm not super happy with the spacing between those elements. Maybe I can put this as 2 and maybe have a little bit more spacing between each individual button here. Okay, I think this will do for now. Let's move on because it's taking a long time now. But we have the title, which you can always change. We have the text in here, we have the buttons, we have the phone, and we need to move on to the next bit, which is this section. And this section is what you can do with the minimalist theme. So let's go back to the browser, click on layout, and let's rename this to hero, and let's add another section, and this section, what you can do, we'll call it this one, what you can do. And for the layout I can just choose the first one, which is one single column, and I can copy. In fact, let's add a new element, new heading. And what I want to do is, I don't know if you can see in here, but what I can do is add another section just for now, so it gives us a little bit more space. And for this, let's edit the text super quickly. What you can do with the minimalist theme, and maybe I can set this as H2. Let's set the size to be, let's go for heading, and let's go for maybe 3 I think that's looking perfect. And let's center align this, and that's actually perfect. And the next thing we need to do in here is, if you look at the design, there is a little bit of text underneath the title, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Okay, let's copy this text from here because I wanted to make sure that all the text styles are the same. So I'm just going to duplicate this, paste it in here, and obviously we need to change the color to black, and we need to center align the text. Now I think that the spacing between those two elements can be a little bit more, so I will give margin to the heading, and instead of pixels I'll change this to M, and that would look okay, I think. And now we need to create another row. We go to layout, so we have one row here, and if you go to the column row, then we need another, we can actually add another column in here, or another row. Maybe another row would be a little bit better. Let's have a look. So let's do this. So second row in here, and for the second row, as I mentioned, we need 4 columns, which is super easy to do. And by the way, you can mess with the size of the columns, which is amazing, but I'll reset back to 4. And what I want to do is add the 4 icons from here. So build a website, start a blog, start a podcast. And to do this, let me copy the title from here. Let's change this to build a website, and obviously I'm going to change this to be maybe like M font size to be 2M, and I'm actually happy with this size. And let's add an icon, and for the icon we're gonna have to do a few things. So for the font size, we need to set it to be a lot bigger, and we need to make sure that the icon is center aligned. And to do this, we might have to go back to the column in here, click on the text align middle. Also, if we click back on the icon, I want to add the background color, this background color. Let's go back. So let's have a look how to do this. And to do color background, I think this is the icon. So the icon needs to go white. And the background needs to go to the blue that we have already used. And now I think I need to make this the background circular, and I think I can do this with border radius hopefully. But also if I do this set to 10 which is probably ridiculously huge, I think I'm gonna have to set the height and width to something. So let's say 1M 1M or 2M, and let's set this to 2M as well. And this is now giving us a circular shape, which is exactly what we want. And obviously we want to change the icon, and you can select another icon from here. I will use this globe for make a website. Let's actually make the icon a little bit bigger. I don't know, maybe the icon can be 6, but the width can be set to 1.4. Let's see, 1.4. Oh, that's pixels. We need to change this to M. This is okay. The design looks a little bit better, so we're gonna have to, I reckon we can set this to 1.6. Yeah, this looks a little bit better now. And what we can do now, give the builder website a little bit of margin for the bottom, because all those columns will be stacking underneath each other on mobile. So I need to give this a little bit of margin at the bottom, just like, I don't know, just like this, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes in a second, how good it looks. And also I want to push the text a little bit as well, so I might as well give the text a little bit margin at the top, so something like this. And let's now duplicate this, just replicate it everywhere. And again, and again, okay. So if we select the column, text align center, select the other one, text align center, and so on. The second bit was start a blog, start a podcast, start a blog, start a podcast, and what was the last? Start a store. Maybe we've used start quite a few times, so maybe like build a store or something. Maybe I need to have a look at the wording a little bit more, because I'm not sure about the title as well. But anyways, let's continue. For the blogging, let's see, I don't think we're gonna get the WordPress icon, so we're gonna have to do something else. For the blogging, we can do something like this would do, I think. For the podcast, we might be able to find an icon. Yes, there is a podcast icon. For the builder store, maybe we can put a shopping cart or a store like this. I think the store looks a little bit better. And we are actually done with this section. So let me double check quickly. In fact, we're not done with this section. We have a white background color, and on the next section we have a gray background color, which I'm going to copy now. So let's do the white background color super quickly. Let's click on the section and change the background to white. And then on the next section, I can click on it already and change the background color to the very gray color that I just selected. So if we go back to the XD, then we can see that the titles keep replicating, so I can just copy and change the wording. And let's do that. And then we have 2 columns. Let's copy this quickly. Let's choose the full width as well. go down, and I'm going to create a new section just so it gives us a little bit of space so you can see a little bit better. Let's have a look at the new section. Okay, so we have the title, and the title is actually demos or demo, whatever. And then let's copy this text. In fact, I haven't changed this text, so I'm gonna have to change in a sec, but let's drag a copy of this text and change it. Okay, if I go back to the design, I just quickly want to change to copy this text and update it in here. Okay, and now for the demos, we have two demos in here, two images which I've already extracted, which I showed you in the beginning of this tutorial how to extract. So I'm not gonna repeat myself here and just continue. So let's go to layout, and underneath section I will add another row 2, and I will just split this row into 2 columns, and each column will have an image. Okay, let's add an image element and choose the first one, and this is the first one that I'm going to use. And also I forgot to actually add alt text in this one, but make sure you do that because it's good for your SEO. So something like that would do, and but obviously make sure you give your images a good alt text. And I'm just going to copy this now, duplicate it, and drag one to the right side. That's perfect. So let's actually swap this image for the second one in here. And I'm not a big fan of the padding in here. Yeah, maybe we can mess around with the space between, but let's have a look how the website looks so far. Okay, this is good so far, but also I would like a little bit more space between each section. So let's do that super quickly. If you go back on this one, we can actually do a little bit more spacing from here. So I don't know, something like 80 from the top might be good, 80 from the bottom might be good. It gives us a little bit more space, and I have to do this for each individual section, unfortunately. But the website should look a little bit better, I believe, and maybe we can give a little bit of space between this and this, those 2 rows. And to do this, you can just maybe change the margin on the text, but you have to be careful with this because on mobile things could start looking a little bit weird. So just make sure you test your mobile as well and adjust. So let's save this and continue. So this section was super easy to do, and let's have a look at the next section, what we have here. And we have the Gutenberg section. So what I'm gonna do now is do a layout with 2 columns, and inside here I'm gonna add an image, and this image will be the Gutenberg demo image, which one I would like to replace to an actual GIF image that moves around and shows a little bit of demo. But in this tutorial I'm just showing you how to build stuff with XD, which is fairly easy if you ask me. But yeah, so let's duplicate this heading, drag it down here. Let's duplicate this text, drag it down as well. I need to change this to Gutenberg, and the text needs to be changed to this. And also, as you can tell, I want a button, and I want a black button, which then I can copy this one actually because I've already done the styles. So let's drag this black button here. I don't actually need so much space now, so I'm gonna go 2. I don't know if I want the icon now. Maybe not. Let's remove for now. Let's find out where it is. So graphic setup off. And obviously I want everything horizontally and vertically center aligned, and this is where Flexbox will help us out a lot. So let's switch that on, do center. This is it. So if we go back, the only thing we need to change now is try Gutenberg. We need the background color to be set to white. So let's select the section, go to background, drag to white. Let's change the button to, where is it? Okay, try Gutenberg. Try Gutenberg. And I think this is it in here. Maybe the space, the section space that we did at the top needs to be set to 80 pixels again, and 80 pixels at the bottom as well, so we're consistent. Let's save this and have a look at the next challenge. And the next challenge is the features. So the features will be similar to the icons that we did in here. In fact, we can copy one of the icons, just replicate it. So let's have a look. So in this case, we're gonna have 2 rows with 4 columns. Let's go back, go to layout. So this one is called Gutenberg, and this one is called demos. Now we need, maybe I'll call this one use, and the first one will be obviously the full width. Let's duplicate the title from here, reuse this title as well, and let's copy the text super quickly, features. And I don't actually have a different text for this section, so at some point I'll come up with something, but let's add another section so we can see better. Okay, now in this row use, we need another row. Sorry, in this section we need to create another row, and in this row we're gonna have 4 columns. And in fact, we can replicate those 4 columns in a second, but first let's replicate one of them icons. So copy, drag down, and copy one of the titles and drag down. And obviously we need to centerline the text in this column. Do the same for the other ones. Okay, and let's copy, duplicate this one as well. Keep on duplicating, we need 4 of them. And let's do the same for the title. You can see how easy it is to build a website with XD now. It's a lot easier. And we've done the first row, but now what I want to actually do is I actually want to duplicate this. And you can just click the button here. If you select the row, you can click on the duplicate button. Now what I have to do is actually start changing the icons and the text. So let me quickly do that.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Okay, so let's save this. Control and S is a shortcut for saving. And if we refresh, let's have a look at what we have so far. We have the demos, and by the way, these images can be linked super easily. We have the Gutenberg, Centerline, and we have the features. And in fact, I want a little bit of space here. Now let's go back and let's add the space of 4M. And let's go back to the final section, which is need help setting up your website. So let's quickly do that. And for this section, I will go as one big column or row, it's column in this case, and I want the section to have the background image of the image that we use at the top, and that would be okay. And maybe I can actually copy the title from here, duplicate, and replicate it here at the bottom. Just make sure that is remove the BR from here, and I want to center align the text, and I also don't want it to be that bold. Something like this would do. Let's change the actual text. Need help setting up your website, your site, excuse me, and I can duplicate this actually, and actually I forgot to change this to, let's have SH2 for now, and I can change this to something else, maybe like H3 or whatever, and then now we're just gonna say, I don't know, maybe contact us via, I don't know, what does it say on the design? Contact us, and we have this email. So I can just use this for now, but obviously because I can actually use an href tag, which is mail to, and do hello@radi.co.uk, something like this. I don't know if the black works here well, but need to close the link as well. And also let's add a little bit of padding on this section, maybe like 80 at the top and maybe like 160 for the bottom, maybe even more, I don't know, 400. That would do for now. So let's save this. And by the way, because I'm using XD, I can add a lot more elements from here, such as contact form and so on. So let's save this and have a look at what we have. Header is working quite well. This section is, all the sections are working quite well. Maybe I forgot the space on this one. So if I click on the section here, let's add the 80 pixels of space, 80 pixels of space at the bottom. And now you're probably wondering, well, how does this look on mobile? Well, for mobile, we're gonna have to do a little bit more work. So if I inspect this and click on the little mobile in here, you will see that on mobile, it's not looking too bad. The headings and text is actually looking really good. The buttons can do, can be changed to full width. That image can be removed or maybe put behind here. The circle image can be moved and so on. So it will require a little bit more work, but as you can see, we're like 80% there, and it's just a little bit more work. And to do, for example, if you want to remove this phone from here, what you can do is go back and you can actually hide stuff. So if I click on the whole section, actually let's click on this mobile device here. And let's go to mobile, and if I click on this column here on the right side, and if I scroll down, actually you have to go under customize, excuse me, and then you will see hide during breakpoint. So what I can say is hide during the mobile phone breakpoint, which means when we go on mobile, this will hide. But let me actually add this. And what I want to do is actually want to do this for the actual column. So let me go to customize and hide this column. So yeah, hide this column, everything inside this column during this breakpoint. And obviously things can be improved a lot more, but let's save this for now. And let's refresh this page now. And as you can see, the phone is now gone. So yes, you will have to do a little bit of custom editing to fix everything. For example, this text is a little bit maybe too big, but yeah, you're gonna have to work on this a little bit more and get it to work. But as you can tell, Xtheme has improved so much more. Yeah, now Xtheme is catching up with the other WordPress editors. This is it from this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you did enjoy this tutorial, give me the thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more tutorials on Xtheme or XD, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because that would help me a lot. I'm trying to grow my audience. Share my videos if you like them, and as always, thank you for watching. My name is Raddy and you're watching my channel, Raddy the Brand.